in the Christian community globally. There are those who will say, you need to establish your calling. How were you called? Where did you get a calling? And how did you start this ministry of yours?
Well, I came to the UK 2005, but I'm a pastor's son from Nigeria, and I've been preaching since I was 8 in my dad's church. And so the details of where I was called, I think God's call over a person's life is based on the need of a generation. So what I've done and what I yielded to was the need for a generation, especially those that I met in what you will call the diaspora. I met kids that were going off rail, kids from Nigerian descent killing themselves over drug trade, 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds. And I responded to the call of my community at the time, Queens Road, Peckham, 2005. That was about 20 years ago. So to detail and dovetail my call, if anybody would ask, I want them to remember that Martin Luther King Jr. was a pastor. And so the manifestation of our call is response to the generational call, the pressing issue of each day.
So the question will be, the manner in which you operate your church has been described as unorthodox, something that is sometimes strange to how Christianity or the Christian church in several places are being run. Why do you decide to run your own church in a way that has caused a stir in the Christendom?
Okay, the intention was not to cause a stir. The intention was to be effective. The current Pentecostal movement, which is just about the Azusa Street Pentecostal movement, which is just about 100-year-old, caused a stir. So the call of the day, times are never the same forever. So they can say it's unorthodox, but the question is it effective? Did it get people out of gangs? Did it get knives off the street? When I came to the UK, and still till recent years, pastors' kids were gang leaders. It's public knowledge. I took these guys off the street, and we realized that it's not just taking them off the street. You have to now create things for them to do. I understand that that is unorthodox. It is strange. It doesn't look like the church. But right there where the churches were, people were killing themselves on those streets. We can't turn a blind eye at that. I think that would be unfair to the name of Christ and to the kingdom takeover, which the church is supposed to be about. The church is not about gathering. It's about kingdom, making sure God's kingdom spreads through the earth and through all industries.
Your character and the manner in which you portray yourself, luxury, expensive cars, expensive watches, there are those who say these are some of the traits that makes people think, wait a minute, is this a pastor in the real sense of it? Why do you exhibit those traits?
Well, I'm a pastor, but I'm also Tobi first. So I'm not sure about expensive clothes. I just wear clothes. And like every other person who put on their clothes and go to parties or wherever they go to, I put on clothes. But most importantly, in the BBC documentary in 2020, they explored, they came to my house to see the work we're doing. They were in my house for many days. That is real investigation. And then contacted to know, why do you do these things? And I said to them, again, when we came, we saw how the drug dealers attracted a lot of young people. We wanted to divert their attention from drug dealers to leaders who are effective in the community. And it's produced the results we wanted. We took 63 knives off the street in 2018. We doubled that in 2019. And that is double the figure of what the Metropolitan Police are doing. And I support the Metropolitan Police. They are very effective. But we did way more. And they attest to these things. My system is my system. My look is my look. I don't want to be someone else. I don't want to dress like them. And I said on BBC, what is the price of a clothes to private jet? So a person, and I'm not disputing however a person decides to spend their money, but what is a clothes to a jet? Really? What is a clothes to the crown the Catholic Pope wears? It's $10 million.
Let me ask you, you've been seen at nightclubs where perhaps those who say these are places you often find unbelievers, people whom you will say does not portray the Christ-like, like the book of Acts of the Apostles, where those who saw those who were following Jesus in Antioch said, these are people who look like Christ. And then those who will say, does this portray what you preach? A pastor in a nightclub dancing to worldly music, as people would describe it? How do you explain such?
Okay, first of all, I've never been seen in a nightclub. That is the figment of the imagination of certain people. I've never been seen in a nightclub. It's not happened once before. I've been seen in restaurants with some of my friends who are musicians from Nigeria. They come, we go eat, but certainly not in a nightclub. However, I must also point out that those who are well do not need physicians. I've had a 20-year record of staying true to the message of Christ that we preach. We've seen many lives change. We've raised leaders. Our houses, we have 50 houses across the nation. You will see young, God-fearing pastors. Last week, Sunday, we ordained about 32 new young pastors with a standard of conduct. So, and that is because they've been following their leaders. Some of them are top scientists in the nation now, some of them CEOs. Well, I took them from prison. I took them from gangs. That is the thing people should focus on. But I've not been seen in nightclubs. Nobody can come up with evidence of that.
Are you afraid of deportation?
Not in any way. I've been here for 20 years. People should go and ask. My records here are clean. I stand tall above the nations. Not one single criminal offense. After all the noise, so we've achieved what we need to achieve in the UK. 140 businesses is what I've added to this economy. It's public knowledge. 140 plus businesses. And so to live anywhere else would be a pleasure, but I'm going to get what rightfully belongs to us.